To all of you. Uh, So, namaste, especially to respected chairperson, all delegates and participants. I wholeheartedly thank the organizers of 7th International Conference on New Frontiers in Engineering, Science, Law, Management, Humanities, and Social Sciences. And it is really a privilege for me and to thank the organizers which have who are Iruksha Research University USA, Indian Institute of Innovation and Science, and the Eudoxia Research Center of India for giving me this opportunity to share my views in today's conference. Thank you very much. And continuing with the slide, um, if you notice this one, we humans have been existing on this beautiful earth since centuries with an aim of enjoying and exploiting its resources. Due to its selfish behavior of us, we have ruined our environment and society by way of overpopulation, pollution, burning fossil fuels, and deforestation. Now, changes like these have triggered climate change, soil erosion, poor air quality, and undrinkable water. All these negative impacts will affect human behavior, resulting in mass migration from one place to another and also battles over clean water. So, this is the challenge which we are facing. We have already started facing because of the behavior pattern that humans have been working towards Mother Earth, that is, Mother Nature. So let's bring a change to brighten our future by giving up our selfish behavior of only extracting from Mother Earth. Let's have an approach of reviving its beauty by considering well-being of not only ourselves, but also following our Indian philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is treating whole world as one family and taking care of each and every living being on this earth. And accordingly, my today's topic is on the evolution of ESG in India, insights on governance, social responsibilities, and environmental impact. In brief, I'm going to discuss about ESG, which is the buzzing word in today's century. So, moving ahead, discussing about the objectives of this particular discussion and the paper primarily is the aim of this discussion is to explore and understand the concepts of ESG, analyze the historical background with respect to BRSR, that is the reporting system that we have, Business Responsibility and Sustainability Report. Further, examine various disclosure reporting formats and ESG reporting requirements, evaluate effectiveness of ESG practices in India, and develop and execute a training program on ESG, which is based on modern concepts and approach. Further, now let's understand about environment, social governance, ESG. What is this ESG? Discussing about environment, environmental criteria considers how a company performs as a guardian of nature. It considers how different activities of companies in respect of use of energy, pollution, and wastages which have been generated by them, along with deforestation, is affecting the environment, and also evaluate different environmental risks and measures which can be taken to mitigate them and to lessen it up. Further, discussing about social. The social criteria will examine how company manages relationship with investors, employees, suppliers, vendors, customers, and others. In brief, how a company is behaving and dealing with all its stakeholders, which are directly or indirectly connected with the company. And discussing about governance, it deals with company's board of directors, transparency, stakeholders management, related party transactions, and reporting of accounting and financial records. So how much transparency is being maintained with respect to all these reportings done is very vital aspect of governance. Now, looking at the global scenario and ESG, the World Economic Forum and the International Business Council, along with the big four accounting firms, that is Deloitte, PwC, KPMG, and EY, they have brought development in ESG by introducing standard measurements on basis of around 22 specific metrics, which have been organized in four pillars, and these have been aligned with the United Nations SDG goals, that is, Sustainable Development Goals. And principles of ESG domains are primarily principles of governance, that is, principles of agency and accountability. The second pillar is about planet, that is, protect the planet from degradation, including sustainable consumption and production, and taking urgent action on climate change. The third pillar comprises of people, end poverty and hunger. Very, very important to ensure that all human beings can fulfill their potential in dignity and equality and in a healthy environment. And the last but not the least, the fourth pillar is prosperity. Yes, that is, we need to ensure that all human beings can enjoy prosperous and fulfilling lives, and that economic, social, and technological process occurs in harmony with the nature. So both of them should go together. So we notice that the global reporting standards and frameworks are important to ensure that disclosures everywhere are consistent and comparable. A few global reporting frameworks are the Global Reporting Initiatives, that is GRI. Then we have the International Integrated Reporting Councils, the Sustainability Accounting Standards, the International Organizations of Securities Commission, that is IOSCO, and so forth. We come across many international organizations in this category. Now, discussing about India and application of ESG. If we see the timelines of evolution of ESG framework in India, that is technically it has started from 2009. But if we see the historical background, it was there even 2,300 years back when Kautilya Arthashastra was written by Acharya Chanakya. Even he has discussed about ESG concepts and how the environment, society, and governance should be in place so that the whole kingdom functions smoothly. He has elaborately discussed very well. Now, not going to the scriptures of Kautilya Shastra, let us discuss about the current scenario. That is, in 2009, Ministry of Corporate Affairs issued guidelines on corporate social responsibilities, that is CSR. Then in 2011, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, that is MCA, releases National Voluntary Guidelines, which provides framework for a business responsibility report. So previously it was BRR, Business Responsibility Report, for demonstrating compliances with primarily 9 principles forming these National Voluntary Guidelines. In 2012, we come across SEBI mandates top 100 listed companies by market capitalizations to include BRR in their annual reports, which was extended to 500 listed companies in 2016. And now in 2019, it was extended to 1,000 listed companies. And in future, definitely is going to increase. In fact, as an increase also. In 2020, SEBI issued a consultation paper on new reporting format of business responsibility and sustainability reporting. So previously we had BRR, now we have BRSR. Even sustainability is required to be taken care of in line with MCA recommendations. And in 2021, SEBI has notified that with effect from the financial year 21-22, BRSR, that is Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting, will be applicable, and then it will be mandatory for top 10,000 listed companies by market cap. And we noticed that in 2023, SEBI, that is Securities and Exchange Board of India, the capital market regulator of our country, India, has unveiled BRSR core. So we find the journey from business responsibility reporting to BRSR light, then BRSR, and now it's BRSR core. That's the journey. And these are all reporting structures which are required to be reported by different companies. And now it has been considered top 1,000. The latest regulations discuss about top 1,000 listed companies must follow them. Now, further, disclosures with respect to under this BRR and BRSR framework. So let us understand both this BRR and BRSR, how we can distinguish, and we can easily distinguish both these reporting systems on the base of this skeletal structure, which we can see that, as you can see over here also in the presentation, that under BRR, the reporting structure consists of 5 sections, A to E. And in case of BRSR, it consists of 3 sections, A to C. Further, in respect of subdivision of sections, in case of BRR, there are no further subdivisions of sections. But in case of BRSR, the principles under section C are further subdivided into essential and leadership indicators. Yes. So now it's not only tick box and just give some figurative data and all that. Even leadership indicators and giving details about the management, the promoters, the directors is also required to be provided in this reporting structure. Further, discussing from the perspective of principles which is based on, we notice that BRR reporting is based on the principles of National Voluntary Guidelines on social, environment, and economic responsibilities of business. And in respect of BRSR, it is based on the principles of National Guidelines on Responsible Business Conduct. So we notice it has expanded. Gradually, it has been expanding, and overall scenario will notice that it has been growing to a great extent. Now, if we see from arithmetical computation perspective, reporting under BRR contains less arithmetic computation as compared to BRSR because of ratios and data based on metrics. And on the, if we analyze, so analysis based, if we see, then under BRR, analysis is qualitative based analysis. Whereas in case of BRSR, it's quantity based analysis. So this is the overall understanding and bifurcation between these two reporting structures, which have been suggested by SEBI over all these years. Now, discussing about social audit, which is a link to environment, social, and governance. We notice that every business decision impacts the environment and the society in large. Hence, it is utmost very, very vital for every company to pay back to the same. They should give back to the society. Now, a practice was introduced as CSR, that is corporate social responsibility, which is evolving and has led towards social audit, which is regulated by ICDR regulations, that is investors issue of capital and disclosure requirements regulations of 2018. And plus, it is also required under standards on social audit. So even though social audit has no direct relationship with this BRSR, if you notice, but ESG responsibilities are somewhat similar with the social responsibilities for conducting primarily of this social intent, and which are verified by our social auditors with similar role to that of an assurance provider. So ultimately, we do that. We notice that it's not that only CSR donations are required done or you carried out. Whether it has been helpful, what is the impact on society? All these aspects are covered by the social auditor. Now, let's understand about effectiveness of ESG in India and stakeholders' well-being. So we notice that many Indian enterprises have participated in RE100 worldwide movement. which encourages business to go green. Yes, now that's the main buzzing word, go green. Now, Indian companies like Infosys, Mahindra and Mahindra, Dalmia Cement, they have joined this RE100 and pledged to get 100% of their energy from renewable resources. Similarly, several Indian firms are functioning under corporate renewable power purchase agreements known as PPAs. And India is the second largest market after United States. Further, corporate giants including Wipro, Godrej, Consumer Products, uh, then we have Infosys, Tata Motors, and many others have joined Dow Jones Emerging Markets, which and they've joined this Emerging Market Sustainability Index, or with respect to Dow Jones. Then many business houses have voluntarily joined numerous forums and are members of World Business Council for Sustainable Development. And in India, we notice that ESG mandates are emerging trend. Yes. Sustainability index and the returns garnered by them are proof that the companies that follow ESG norms are bound to do financially well. So if you are ESG compliant, your performance will be always good. Discussing about the training module to develop and execute training programs to nurture ESG, overall objective of this training will be to improve the value-based dimensions of developing ESG amongst business houses and their board of directors. So primarily, it will be to develop that these principles of ESG should be followed in true spirit. To integrate ESG so as to enrich the value-based dimensions of governance in general and society, in particular with reference to India. And plus, this training will help to develop ESG dimensions of skills amongst board of directors and the management team, which will help them to apply principles of ethics and moral values while carrying business leading to stakeholders' well-being through value creation. Value creation is very, very important. Further, if we discuss about moving forward to different career opportunities, there are a handful of recommendations for effective implementation of ESG-related obligations. And we come across that now there are new job business opportunities. So role of Chief Sustainability Officer has come up, role of assurance provider, ESG rating providers have come up now. Plus, there are many certification courses are coming up which have been designed for ESG and related compliances. So ESG officers are there being appointed by companies. So especially ESG officer will be required to take care of the ESG compliances. So that way, many, many new opportunities in terms of jobs and also in terms of practice as a consultant, also it comes up. So even there's a lot of scope in providing consultancy services with respect to ESG. Plus, if we see, there are also ESG departments, okay, where we find that setting up, companies have been setting up dedicated ESG departments or teams working closely to the CSO, CFO, and compliance officer. Then we also have ESG committees in the companies, which establishing an ESG committee, which is tasked with overseeing, okay, overall, they'll see whether ESG activities are carried out properly and what reports are being provided to the board. And ESG director is also going to come up, where they will conduct trainings to all these directors to familiarize them with upcoming ESG regulations. So we notice that the role of CSO, that is Chief Sustainability Officer, is highlighted more now. And second is the role of assurance provider, ESG rating providers. All these are playing very, very vital and important. And so we see that these will be the further recommendations which we need with respect to departments, committees, and directors, especially. And in conclusion, I would like to conclude that we humans have always been blessed with ample of resources, and our lives have always been dependent on them. So it is our utmost responsibility to utilize them in an efficient way. Resources are very scarce, so use them efficiently. It is therefore an obligation on every organization to contribute towards a better future. Thus, greater transparency and ethical reporting from companies is in demand. Further, the new guidelines will enable to upgrade the skills and knowledge of professionals in ever evolving legal landscape. So even legal requirements are there with respect to ESG. Further, companies which are conscious in applying the principles of ESG would take necessary steps for overall betterment of society. Like in case of environmental issues, they would limit the dangerous pollutants and greenhouse gas emissions, adopt renewable energy sources, and would provide carbon or sustainability reports to the regulators. And in case of social, companies should pay fair wages and have policies to protect against any misconduct to the human beings, to the employees of the companies. And in respect of governance, companies would employ diverse members on their board, including independent directors, and also apply corporate transparency. So I'll end with this, where Acharya Chanakya has stated in Kautilya Shastra, Praja Sukhe Sukham Raja, which means in the happiness of the subjects lies the happiness of the king. And in what is beneficial to the subjects is his own benefit. So the business houses should always be stakeholder centric and ultimately have a service attitude for society. With this, I'll end with a small poem specially composed for this ESG. That is, in a world that's changing, we stand for more. With ESG values, we open the door. Environmental care, a future we seek. Sustainability is strong, not fragile or weak. Social justice thrives with equality's call. In governance hands, we rise and stand tall. Together we build a planet that's just for the earth, for the people. In ESG, we trust. That's all from me. Thank you very much.